Dear students, we will be now discussing Casting in Foundry Part 3, part of the syllabus Manufacturing Process 1, second year, first semester, Diploma in Mechanical Engineering. In Part 3, we are going to discuss about cores, gates, runners, risers, and other different features of the mold in sand casting. Now, what are cores? Please try to understand. This is a very useful concept. Cores are sand bodies used to form hollow portions or cavities of a desired shape and size. Now, remember that we are actually pouring material into a cavity in a sand mold. Now, the whole cavity will be filled up with material. If we want to have a hole in that casting, then the material should not be allowed to go in that area. Now that is actually achieved by providing cores in the casting. The cores may be horizontal, vertical or balanced. See the sketch. On the left hand side, the job is a cylindrical portion with two extended diameter at the two ends, and it has got a hole inside. Now the pattern will look like this. It will not look exactly like the job. It will have two extended portions at the two ends, which are called core prims. Now see in the mold how the core is placed. The core is placed actually in the space generated by these core prims. So two halves. One half is made on the bottom, another half is made on the top, and one is placed on the top of the other, and the final shape is generated like this. Here, you see, here the core was supported at the two ends, but in this particular case, the core is not supported at the end, and two supports, which are called chaplets, made of aluminium, are provided so that the core is supported. Otherwise, it's a cantilever core. This core is supported on both ends, and this core is a cantilever core. So, it has to be supported at the free end. It is provided by the chaplets. Now this is the sand. This is the sand all around on which the pattern has generated the cavity, and we have put the core here so that the discontinuity in the casting is obtained. After mixing of sand in special mixers, cores are made by proper ramming, providing reinforcements and venting where necessary. Cores are then baked in core ovens at 250 degrees centigrade. You see, green sand does not require any baking. The general sand which is used in the preparation of the mold, it does not require any heating, but cores require heating, because the core has to be hard enough. You see, it is sitting inside the cavity where, by the force of the molten metal, the cores would have broken otherwise if they were not hard. So that is why cores are heated in core oven. Core binders are used to impart strength to cores. Organic binders include linseed oil, resins, cereal binders, sulfite binders, peach, wood flour and plastics. And core is specially made from core sand, which is actually sand which has got consistent grain size. In green sand, which is used for the mold, the grain size is not consistent. But in cores, the core sand has got consistent grain size. This is prepared, this is made and sold separately as a core sand. Cores are positioned in the molds with the help of core prims, as I told you. In order to arrest the vertical movement or shifting of the core due to upward thrust of the molten metal, chaplets are used. Chaplets are metal forms placed between the mold and the core surfaces. These chaplets, when molten metal is poured, they melt and goes into the molten metal. It creates very little impurity which is within acceptable limits. As mentioned earlier, cores are usually supported by two core prims in the mold. However, there are situations where a core only uses one core prim so that other means are required to support the cantilevered end. These are usually supplied in the form of chaplets. These are small metal supports that bridge the gap between the mold surface and the core. But because of this becomes a part of the casting. As such, the chaplets must be the same or similar material as the metal being cast. Moreover, their design must be optimized because if they are too small, they will be completely melt and allow the core to move. But if they are too big, then the whole surface cannot melt and fuse in the poured metal. Their use should also be minimized because they can cause casting defects and create a weak spot in the casting. It is usually more critical to ensure the upper chaplets are stronger than the lower ones because the core will want to float up on the molten metal. Gates, runners and risers. Please follow this area very carefully. The passageway which serves to deliver the molten metal into the cavity is known as gating system. Pouring cup, funnel-shaped opening in the upper surface of the core is called the funnel cup, where the material is poured. I will show you the sketch, then you will be able to better understand. This is the full sketch of a mold. Please follow carefully. You see the pouring cup that is on top, which is the funnel shaped where the molten metal is poured. The molten metal comes through this sprue, which is the vertical portion, then the runner, which is the horizontal portion, and then goes into the cavity here. And the upper portion of the mold is called the cope and the lower portion of the mold is called the drag. There are two separate portions. Separately, the impression is created and then put one above the other. Now there are other areas also. This is the mold cavity you can see. The one core is placed because you wanted to create some opening there. Then the gas vent is there so that the trapped gases can go out of that. And the riser is provided here where excess material will be poured that in case during some solidification, some spaces, because by solidification material will sink. So whatever area that remains unfilled will go from this extra material in the riser and fill up that area to fill up the total cavity to have the complete casting. So this is actually the complete picture of a mold in a casting. So I'll repeat again. This is the parting line between the cope and the drag. You can see the parting line. This is the gas vent. This is the riser where excess material will be kept in molten condition. So it goes back and fill up any blank area in the casting. This is the pouring cup from where the material is being poured. And these are the mold cavity and the core. So we have come almost to the end of this particular portion, which is part 3. We will just discuss about the molding tools very quickly. Shovel, you know what is a shovel, used to move and mix sand. Riddle, used for cleaning the molding sand. Rammers, they looks like a mallet or a wooden hammer, used for packing and ramming the foundry sand. Vent, where they create venting in the sand. By pushing them into the sand, you create vents. Gate cutter or gates, because you have to cut the gate in the sand. Swab, used for moistening the edge of the patterns before it is removed. Gaggers or lifters, used to reinforce sands on the top part of the mold. Slick, used for repairing or finishing of the mold. Lifter, used for smoothing and cleaning out the depression in the mold. Wrapper plate